Fua! Hi, it's San and welcome to another Fua dance tutorial. Today we're going to talk about designing a good stage set list. So if you're given a certain amount of time, how are you going to choose the songs to fill up that time? It's a continuation from my last video on having good stage presence and expressions. I'll be speaking from my own personal experience as a dancer, as well as having a bit of stage management experience from the organizer's perspective. Also, these are all just my own personal advice. Everyone does their stage set list differently, and if you have your own advice, please share it down in the comment section below. I'll be talking about 3 things today. Firstly, having good song choice and theming. Secondly, your time management. And thirdly, your energy management. If you enjoy these videos, please like, comment, and subscribe to Fua Dance Tutorials, as well as check out my Patreon, where I share all my dance tutorial videos 1 week early, as well as have blog posts on my own personal dance journey. This video will be based on the assumption that you have at least a 10-minute set list at an ACG or Japanese culture event. If you are only doing one song or a 5-minute set list, actually a lot of advice in this video will not apply to you, and you should just do whatever song you like. Now firstly, theming and song choice. Even though we all like to believe that an artist should be able to do whatever song they like, instead of just choosing songs that you personally are listening to at the moment, consider putting in a popular or well-known song instead. I like to put at least one popular song inside my set list, and I like to put it at the start. The reason being, if people hear from afar a song that they recognize or a song that they like, they will be interested to go to the stage and find out more. That's why I put it at the start, so that they can see the rest of my performance afterwards. Also, people generally go to events hoping to hear something that they recognize. So if you choose the more popular songs, more likely people are going to have a good time, as well as when they go home, they'll remember you as the performer who did that song that they really enjoyed. Of course, after you do the popular song, feel free to do whatever song that is inspiring you at the moment. Secondly, you should have a consistent theme throughout your performance. Some easy ways I see people do theming is that they choose songs from the same series or the same artist. For example, all Naruto songs or all songs from YOASOBI. This is usually an easy way to do a consistent theme. But if you're like me and you like to dance a variety of songs from a variety of artists, then you should at least perform a consistent theme by having adjacent genres. What I mean is that you don't need to have cute songs all the way. That's very one-dimensional. You shouldn't have a cute song next to a dark theme song, because that's a very sudden change in momentum. The whole flow of your performance would seem very disjointed. You can have adjacent theme, for example, a cute song next to a lively song, a cute song next to an inspiring or graceful song, or a cute song next to a funny song. These are things that are an example of adjacent genres. If you want to do cool songs, then you could do it next to cool, energetic songs, dark songs, horror songs, sexy songs. So these are a different type of genre. So you need to be able to string all these songs together. And I'll give an example. If you do Kawaii Kute Gomen, you shouldn't be putting it next to King. That's a very different type of song. But you can put Kawaii Kute Gomen next to Tell Your World, which is a lively song. For King, if you really want to do that, you could put it next to songs like Usewa or Villain, which is a dark song. Or you could even put it next to Elect, which even though it's not dark, but it's energetic. One way to know if your song set list is having a consistent theme is if you can string all your songs together with a costume in mind. So if I'm doing an idol costume, what songs are related to that idol costume? Some people customize their costume to have traditional elements in it. Then that allows you to do traditional styled songs in your set list as well. So having a costume that works for every single song in your set list is a good sign that your theming is consistent. Let's not talk about costume changes, because I believe that if you have to change your costume, then your set list is already quite disjointed. Just remember, at the end of the day, you are one performance in the sea of other performers. You are not the entire show at that event. Thus, it's best to just have one consistent theme going out so that people can remember you easier when they go back and think, oh, I really like that cool performer, or I really like that funky, funny performer. If people can describe it in a few words, people can remember it better. Of course, if you have the privilege to do a multi-day performance, then you can have your day 1 be a specific genre theme set and your day 2 be a specific genre theme set. That way you can show off variety. Otherwise, if you really want to do a song and it doesn't fit in your theme, Maybe you should just do it at another event instead. This last advice doesn't apply to everyone, but some dancers or performers like to have a branding or a specific concept that they like to bring to multiple events. This way, people will always associate them with a specific image or a specific theme. This helps them not just with their audience, but also with organizers who want to be able to predict what kind of themes or sets will come out when they invite a specific performer. So having a consistent theme helps organizers remember you easier when they're looking for, oh, I want a really cool showstopper kind of performer, I want a lively or cute performer, or I want someone more traditional to shake things up. Your name might be the first to come to their mind if you're consistently doing the same type of songs. But of course, not everyone has to follow this. And personally, at each event that I go to, I bring a different theme and a different set list all the time. Whether that affects my chances of getting invited back for future events or closed application events, that's a different story, yes. But honestly, just do what you like and what you want to experiment with. As long as within that set list of that day, you're giving off a consistent image. Secondly, let's talk about timing. I like to time my songs exactly to the amount of time that I'm given. So if I am having a 15-minute set list, I count in my introduction time, my emceeing time, my ending time, where I plug my social media as well as take photos with the audience. I rehearse this to the point and also design my song so that in total, it doesn't go over 15 minutes. It is exactly 15 minutes. And I rehearse this so that I can get within 10 seconds of margin. The reason why you have to rehearse this consistently and know how much time you are spending is that sometimes events will overrun and the event organizer might ask you to cut a bit of your set list. You don't want to cut songs out of your set list because that is what you're there to do, perform the songs. So if you are able to confidently say, okay, I prepared for a total of 2 minutes of talking time, I can cut that down to 1 minute for you or 30 seconds for you by cutting out my talking time. Then maybe you are able to negotiate to keep your songs inside the set list. I've witnessed this scenario where an event was overrunning and the event organizers didn't want to pay venue overtime because it's super expensive. So the stage manager just went up to the front of the stage and told the singer right there and then, stop your set list, stop singing right now, get off the stage, we are ending. And the singer just couldn't finish their song, which is an awful thing. You don't want that to happen to you. So plan for the MC portions. It is buffer, thank me later. A useful skill to have is cutting and fading music. So being able to mix two songs together, or even the simpler version, just adjusting the timing of a specific song. If you know how to cut, crossfade, you can cut a 3-chorus song down to 2 choruses or 1 chorus. That could make 2 to 3 minutes of difference. And if it's a very repetitive song, you don't want to do 3 choruses. To make it more entertaining, you can cut it down to 2. This also gives you flexibility in squeezing songs in or filling in awkward pockets of timing that you end up having. My personal style of doing 15-minute set lists is having 2 full-length songs and 2 short version songs put together. It's usually a very good way to show variety within a limited time. Lastly, energy management. Don't put super difficult songs side by side. It will kill your stamina and kill the quality of your performance. Know your abilities and know your amount of stamina that you have so that not only on the performance day, but the practices leading up to the performance, you have the energy to practice the songs properly. Before my performance, during the week leading up to it, I will do full runs of my set list from start to finish, including emceeing time so that I can time myself. And if you are winded after your first full run of your set list and you have no more energy to do a second run, that limits the amount of practices that you can have before your event time. So do yourself a favor and manage your expectations and the difficulty of the songs that you're doing. It's okay to put in a very easy and simple song in between your set list just so that you can have a bit of rest time. Remember, you're there to entertain, not to impress people. So you don't have to make every song technically challenging or wow and impressive. Some other methods to catch your breath in between songs is to do MC portions or even swap members if you're performing in a group. That way some members can rest while others perform the set list. Not just managing your energy, you also want to manage your memory space. So know how many songs you can have in your head at one go. Are you preparing for multiple events in the same month? Can you really manage that many songs? It's actually okay to repeat your set list. If you're doing 2 days, I know a lot of people who repeat one song in each of the days and then do unique songs for the rest of their set list. Are you doing multiple events? It's okay to repeat your set list. If you are new to performing and it's your first time, I really recommend beginners to do 1 to 2 songs maximum for your first event. This is because you never know on that day if you will experience stage fright, if you'll blank out, have a bit of anxiety. Stick to something simple, stick to 1 to 2 songs. That way you will lessen the damage if anything bad happens on your first run. I have a limit of 4 to 5 songs per event. So the most I've done is 5 songs, and even that was crazy because the rehearsals leading up to the event, I basically had to meet up with different people every single day to learn all the different songs. I've had 2 events back to back, and my memory was like totally fried at the end of it. So know your ability before you sign up for an event and request for a half an hour set list. Are you able to fill up that half an hour with your stamina and current memory abilities? Know yourself well and don't bite off more than you chew. That would be my advice to you. And that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. And check out my Patreon for additional content. And share what advice you have for choosing your song set list in the comment section below. 再见。